Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out this episode of Really Dicey. I'm here with Hayley Gordon, one of the creators of Good Society, a Jane Austen RPG. The reason I really want to do this around this time of year is because Jane Austen's birthday is on December 16th, and hopefully this video will be out by then. I'm a big fan of her works, so I figured what a great way to celebrate is to also promote this book, which is also very beautiful. So Hayley, for those of us that don't know what this book is and what's it about, would you explain what this is?
Yeah, thanks for having me here to chat about all things Austen and Good Society today. So Good Society is a tabletop role-playing game where you and your friends collaboratively work together to create a story of the kind you would see in a Jane Austen novel. So each player takes on a character that you would see in the novel, for example, a wealthy heir trying to decide who to marry, or a dependent trying to carve their future despite the odds. And you work together to pursue your character's desires and tell the story of what happens to them.
Okay, so would you say this book is it's a complete book? It has all the rules, all the setting material that you need to play the game?
Absolutely, yeah. Everything that you need is in there. There's a full rule set, and there's also a few chapters that go into the different character archetypes. And we have some chapters that outline the basic history or basic themes in Austen's work you can use as well if you are interested. Although you don't actually need to know anything really about Austen or about the Regency to play the game. As long as you kind of get the vibe of the thing, you'll be good to go.
Tell us about the rules for this game. Now, this is you don't really do you need dice for this?
No, you don't. So Good Society is a very collaborative game. Everything that you do in the game, you do together, and it really is about working together to tell the story. There is one person in most games who takes the role of the facilitator, but they don't really have any more power over the story than anyone else. Their job is to really make sure that everyone is heard and help people work together to tell the story. And the main mechanics of the game is so the game uses a thing called a cycle of play, which is sort of a structure that walks through different phases and you do different things in different phases. So there's novel chapters where we see your characters in action. That's sort of most similar to a standard role-playing game, I guess. There is reputation phases where your reputation will rise and fall. There is epistolary phases for writing letters out loud to each other. And there's also a rumor and scandal phase where you create the rumor and scandal that is going about town. Yeah, and aside from that, the main way that the game works is using something called a resolve token. Basically, when you want to do something that will have an impact on the story, if you think, wouldn't it be cool if this carriage overturned, or it began raining, so they had to huddle under one umbrella, or whatever it is, then you can play a resolve token to do that as well.
Okay, and I saw that you can also purchase cards for the game. Could you explain that?
Yeah, so the cards sort of contain two different things. Firstly, there are desire and relationship cards. So in Good Society, every character has a desire. It's the burning hope and ambition that's driving them forward through life. For example, to discover the feelings of their old flame and renew their engagement, or to best their cousin and win the family inheritance. And those things are really, really central to your character and what you're going to be doing during the game. So those come on cards, as well as relationships, like, as you might have guessed from those desires, cousin or old flame. And then the other thing we have in the card deck is some connection cards. So in Good Society, as well as creating your character, you're going to be creating a few secondary characters that have a relationship with your character. And to help those be created quickly and easily during the game, we have cards that contain some wonderful connections you can choose to use as well.
So you mentioned before that you don't need to know Jane Austen really to play the game or the time period. But do you need to be familiar with role-playing games to play this?
I've played Good Society with quite a few people who have played it as their very first role-playing game. And I guess my answer to that would be that I would recommend that the facilitator of the game be familiar with role-playing games. So the person who is, helping people collaborate and maybe explaining the rules of the game. But the players don't need to be at all. And I actually had a great opportunity to play the other day with a wonderful group of people from a Library Austen group who hadn't one of them hadn't role played at all, but just jumped straight into the game because the love for Austen was so clear. So yes, I would say as long as The facilitator has played a few role-playing games before. You'll be good. And even if they haven't, we actually do have a video online on our YouTube channel, so the Storybrewers YouTube channel, that is a sort of a beginner's guide to role-playing. So if you haven't played before, you can kind of go and check that out, and that tells you a few things you need to know in order to play the game.
Okay. So this is not a new game. This has been out for a few years now. And you also had a second Kickstarter for some additional source books. Could you tell us about some of the source books that are out there for this? I saw something that dealt with swashbuckling, another one dealt with magic.
Yeah, so we just have the one expansion book for Good Society, and it contains actually 6 different expansions, 4 full expansions and 2 mini expansions. The 4 full expansions, I really enjoy all of them. They add different flavors to the game. So we have Practical Magics, which is sort of adding a backdrop of magic to the Regency world. We have Sensibility and Swordsmanship, which is the swashbuckling expansion. And in that one, you take on a secret identity by night, as well as your ordinary identity by day. That's all about juggling different obligations and double identities. We have got a Downstairs at the Abbey, which is sort of a Downton Abbey upstairs, downstairs style stories. And then the last one we have is called Emma Forget Me Not, and that is taking things into a more Bronte kind of more serious dramatic space.
Oh, okay. So is there anything coming up for the future of this RPG line?
Well, Expanded Acquaintance, which is the book that has the 6 expansions in it, came out about a month ago. So it's very, very new, and we're still working on the supporting content for that. So we are still creating the how to play videos, and we're making a few additional things as well to help people play. So that's where we're concentrating at the moment, trying to make sure that everything is easy and accessible for people who are grabbing either the original game or the expansions. We do have a few other games sort of in the pipeline, but they are not related to Good Society at this stage. One at a time for Good Society.
So Jane Austen's works are still as popular as they have been for many, many, many years. Why do you think Jane Austen's works are still popular and probably will be popular after we pass?
I think that they hit on an emotional core that is really resonant with people. I mean, I love Jane Austen for other reasons as well. Like, she's hilariously funny. Pride and Prejudice is so funny, and has a very witty sense of social observation and comedy. But the thing that I think makes it endure is its resonant emotional core, and sort of people can connect to the different characters and think about what they would do in that situation and feel the pressures of society upon them through the eyes of the characters. And I think that makes them very enduring.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. For those out there that are interested and want to know more, where can they go online?
So our website is storybrewersroleplaying.com, and you can read a bunch of information about the game on there, and also catch some of our videos. As well as that, we're on Twitter at Storybrewers. So very easy to remember. If you type Storybrewers into Google, all one word, you're probably going to find us.
Excellent. Again, thank you so much. And to our viewers out there, please be safe and have a great day. Thank you very much.